Hello. My research topic of this essay will be how sound and moving images create a cultural phenomenon. And this is my introduction. And through this as a research, I'm gonna talk about two type of sound or video. One is ASMR, and the other one is moving images, which is oddly satisfying video, a genre of video which is really popular on the internet nowadays. And I'm gonna talk about how these kind of like sound or images create such a global phenomenon, explaining why people liking it, what kind of things may people get from it, and I'm gonna also talk about the science behind those sound and images effect, like to the mental health or like to the physical health. Um, what can people get from it? And I'm gonna also link those kind of satisfying sound and videos, link it with therapeutic treatment, and then discuss about whether is it just a trend or is it can be applied to different kind of therapeutic use. Yep. So first of all, we're gonna talk about pleasure principle since we are talking about like why people liking some sort of things. And pleasure principles is raised by Sigmund Freud, and it talk about the tendency of people to seek pleasure and avoid pain. And actually, people in a really young age as a child, they already know how to avoid pain and seek immediate gratification. And I do think that ASMR and oddly satisfying videos have a lot of similarity to them because people who watch them seek for instant satisfaction and gratification under the reality principle. And those kind of feeling that they get are really uh, do matches with the pleasure principle. Then let's talk about the subject of our essay, which is the first one, ASMR. So ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. And autonomous mean it was a feeling from within, sensory mean the physical senses, and meridian suggesting the peak and even orgasm. And response means that it was not a constant state and it was just short period of time. Um, ASMR is actually a proper term to describe the brain tingle and brain orgasm audience encounter from watching ASMR videos. So actually, ASMR also means that it is a genre of video where people may be whispering, crinkling paper, tapping fingernails, or like brushing different kind of paint brushes on skin, or even cutting different kind of soap into pieces. So one of the very important principle of ASMR is materializing sound indices (MSI), which mean from different kind of actions such as tapping, crinkling, lip smacking, and other acoustic action, they are making the audience to feel the material condition of the sound source, to make the audience hear the object, hear the material through different kind of action. So the origin of ASMR is actually brought up by Jennifer Allen, a woman, and she first discovered ASMR from watching a space video, which she said that she encountered a tingling feeling from her hair scalp. And then she posted a post on Steady Health called Weird Sensation Feels Good about her experience. And then a lot of people resonate with it and have a different kind of discussion. So later on, she opened a Facebook group posting the very first ASMR video of the history called Whisper One Hello. And actually, we can have a brief look of it.
I thought that I'd make some videos of me whispering because I absolutely love listening to people whisper, which is really, really weird. But I just have like a weird fetish or something. I don't know. But anyway, so I couldn't really find any videos on YouTube of people whispering.
Yep. So it's like a brief preview of the video, and then later on, of course, it get popular and it create its own genre of video, and its own people who do this such kind of video called ASM artists, a career. And my definition of popularity is really simple. It's simply applying that there's a lot of views and subscription, which there's millions of it, and also nowadays in YouTube there are 500 new videos each day being posted daily on YouTube, and their popularity can be shown through a gigantic market where there are people doing such kind of things and people watching such kind of thing on a daily basis. It also get popular by the way that it changed the way of advertising. For example, during the Super Bowl on Sunday, there's a commercial aired which the actress Zoe whispered and tapped on a beer bottle instead of shouting out different kind of slogan and doing an ASMR to the viewers. So highly changed the advertisement industry, also show that the popularity and how the more important of ASMR genre. So as a in a scientific approaches, like what can ASMR give and what can ASMR do to our body, in different kind of research it showed that ASMR videos led to a tingling sensation and promote positive effect, such as calmness and excitement. And psychological benefits of watching ASMR include reducing heart rate and increased skin conductance level in people who watch ASMR videos. Besides a professor of psychology called Richard, he believes that the tingle of ASMR triggers like grooming, whispering, and eye gazing all bear strong resemblance to the way that humans soothe insects, which how our mother like take care of us, pet us when we are as a baby, have a really strong connection to why we feel satisfied to such kind of sound. And is ASMR a trend or is it like a proper therapeutic treatment or measure? The effect of ASMR was comparable to one of the exercise, mindfulness exercise, which psychologists recommend, and those kind of exercise ask patient to encourage patient to accept emotion rather than suppress them. And similarly, survey research also found that a lot of common motivation for people who watches ASMR video is for their own mental health benefits, such as aiding sleep and to reduce stress, which show that actually they do have some kind of similar effect to some kind of a proper psychological exercise. However, I do consider ASMR as a trend more than a popular therapeutic treatment because there's a major obstacle in it. The obstacle is that using ASMR as a tool is really difficult because there's a different extent to how people or like which people experience ASMR. Some people maybe have different kind of resemblance to some sort of things, maybe like have their own preference. So uh, some sort of sound may be satisfied in some people's to some people, but may not be applicable to everyone. So I think that's why after all, because of the research that you have to make, and because of the uh, diversity of people's preference, so in these days, I think I still consider it as a trend rather than a proper therapeutic treatment. So moving on, and the other one I'll be talking about is moving images, and which is also known as oddly satisfying video, and it is also a genre of video where people may be icing a cake perfectly, cutting and mixing lipsticks, or even doing different kind of generated animated GIF. And with example of this GIF, a lot of people do feel watching these kind of videos really satisfy. And there's also one more example that I can show you guys. Yeah, so that's a short review of the videos, some example of those satisfying video, and in a scientific approach of those video, why does it cause satisfaction? One of the really major reason is completion. Completion in a psychological uh, way of thinking is really appealing to people's psychological need. And in a 2017 study made researchers asked participants to write all the work that they could remember from a list that they have previously seen. So, sort of like a memory test. But during the middle of the test, they stopped the participant from completing the list, stopped them from writing, and this kind of action actually trigger a feeling of incompleteness. And a lot of participants later feedback saying that those kind of action make them feel incomplete, unsatisfied, and unpleasant. And with more serious participants, they even like mail the complete list to the survey center. And yeah, and another reason why this video cause satisfaction is because of people's aesthetic value or the video's aesthetic value. So from research saying actually people are really people do like different kind of geometric and organic patterns, and which in a lot of satisfying videos, those kind of patterns are perfectly drawn, perfectly colored, and showing different kind of patterns of those kind of form. So maybe that's one of the reason why people enjoyed it and feel satisfied, because from the inborn aesthetic value of liking organic geometric pattern. And another reason is because of the idea of Goldilocks feeling. People are actually really pleased to see order and control because of the high intense certain atmosphere that they face on their daily life. So the videos actually offers a visual image with things in order, go as how we expected, or even showing like a perfect routine where we wanted things to be done and want things to go. So such kind of actions, such kind of movement um, with under our expectation convey a comfort to us, which then we feel satisfied from watching it. So does it is it like a real therapeutic treatment? Watching those kind of videos, I think that it is not, because like I've mentioned before, is a lot about like personal preference, your aesthetical value, and maybe some kind of image may not, satisfying image may not apply to everyone. And even in treating OCD treatment nowadays, using satisfying videos are still not like the proper way. So I do consider it as a trend more than like a proper scientific therapeutic treatment. So for my final project, this is a brief idea that I've come up with that I'm interested in making, and I want to make a project combining the idea of torture and satisfying with the use of sound and images. I want to recreate a scenario of brainwash where people um, where I will replace the sound to ASMR and images to satisfying moving images, like consistent moving, satisfying moving image. The reason why I want to make it is because as the first play why I wanted to do this research topic is because I want to know more about like brainwash the concept, and I'm kind of fascinated by the idea of it. And after digging it more about for example, satisfying video, how image affect how people feel, I want to try to combine two different feeling to different kind of really different feeling and combine it into like a one work where people may undergo a brainwash process, but is it possible that they can feel like uh, relaxation through it? And I want to see the result from it. So that's my idea of my final project, and yeah, that's it for my presentation. Thank you.